Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have another one. If you like my build for the Arc Goddess Warlock, you're definitely gonna like this one. This build right here is called my Faded Ninja build. And the interesting part about this build is that you can use it for any class. You just have to adjust for whether it's Solar, Arc, Stasis, or Void. Void is the easiest way to pull it off because you can use that grenade to just cloak, and you got other options to go invisible. Now, what's essential, the main part about this build, and I'm gonna go based on the Solar class, but you can adjust accordingly. This is what I got procced here. Here you have an option, but the best choice here would be Gambler's Dodge. You can recharge your melee ability when you're close to enemies. If you are out of the melee charge, you can use your class ability by enemies and then use the melee for this right here, the knife trick. And the reason I use the knife trick is because you got 3 knives you can throw out, flaming knives. It increases your chances of hitting the enemies. Now you can use the other ones if you want, but it's a little harder to proc it. So I went with this, the knife trick. As well, thermite grenades, they're more sustainable. You can also use solar grenade if you want. Choice is yours on this. Sometimes I use healing grenades too if things get a little tricky. If I'm in in-game situations, I can use healing grenades because you're always going to be throwing these knives right here. So you really don't need a regular grenade. But so if you want to stay healing, you can use this to sustain yourself and your allies too. The aspects: on your mark, precision final blows grant you and nearby allies increased weapon handling and reload speed for short duration. The reason I use this is because it has 3 fragment slots. It really has nothing to do with the precision final blows. This right here though, knock them down. The first part doesn't really matter, even though it helps you. You get more projectiles with blade barrage, golden gun, marksman, and dead shot. Got, you know, increase perks with that. But the main kicker to this one is while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. So what that does is when you throw those knives and you get a kill, you automatically get your melee back. So you're constantly gonna be throwing knives. The only way you're gonna lose your melee energy is if you miss. And more than likely, if you're right in front of the enemy, more than likely you're not gonna miss. But you have to, it's mostly for the small enemies and not the big ones. It's mostly for the small enemies and not the big ones. So what you wanna do is, in case you do miss, you can go to this, get Gambler's Dodge, use it near the enemies and get your melee right back, and then throw another one at them, and it will give you your melee right back. That is the key to this build right here. It is a little harder to proc in the other subclasses because you have, with the Arc, you have to literally melee them, and then this won't proc. So you would have to constantly keep using Gambler's Dodge in order to get that melee back. So Solar is the best way to do it, to use this. That's why I'm using it here. Now, the essential exotic for this build is the Assassin's COWL. The Assassin's COWL. Why? They just redid how the Assassin's COWL works. Powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of the invisibility and the amount of health and shields restored. So what that means, the bigger the target is, the more, you know, the longer you're cloaked, the more health and more shields you will get by finishing them off. Now the key here is those powered melee final blows give you invisibility. So it doesn't even matter if you're not a void class. being solar class, you can still go void invisible just by throwing these knives and using the cowl. Now, if you don't have the cowl, it's not gonna do it. So you need the assassin's cowl to make this work. What I proc with it is striking light. So you're gonna want an art class. I mean, you can really proc this out how you want. It's just up to you. But this is what I got for it. When you're charged with light, defeating combatants with melee damage and swords. Don't worry about swords. We could use it, we may not, but the melee damage is the key. You spawn 1 orb of power for your allies and you consume 1 stack of charge with light. Now you're always gonna have charge with light because we have explosive well maker. Explosive well maker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. Now you can give yourselves other ways to proc the wells, but for me, this is the best way to do it. Now, even though I have the Jurassic green here, another gun you can use that you can actually craft that's easy to craft is the AMMIT AM2. Because the AMMIT procs incandescent, and when you use incandescent, that's a solar explosion. That solar explosion gives you more wells with explosive well maker, and all you have to do is kill enemies by doing that. So while you're shooting and doing the melee, it's all proccing each other. It's all working together in tandem, and it makes it a very, very fun build to have. Also at the bottom for extra damage, what I did was I added bomber. So when I do use my class ability, when I run out of melee, I'll get reduced grenade cooldown, as well as I added font of might, which when I pick up an elemental well that matches my subclass, which is of course solar, I will get a temporary bonus to weapon damage for the solar gun. So that Jurassic green and that fixed odds with both with incandescent, boom, boom, they're all proccing each other. Every time I hit them with incandescent, which means if I hit them with anything but the shotgun, it's gonna proc explosive well maker. It's gonna proc it. You know, now I added the shotgun just in case things get close and personal, but I mean, you can use your preference on this. That really isn't an essential part of this build. It's just, you can go how you want on that. But yeah, man, that's my build. And as usual, always make sure you got 100 resilience. You want that damage protection, especially in in-game content. Mobility, long as you have mobility at least, I'd say at least 60, you're good, because you need that class ability. But you're gonna have that proccing pretty well. The melee is gonna be proccing pretty well most of the time. So I don't want to say it doesn't matter. I'd say have it at least 60 for mobility. With 100, this should be high anyway. Everything else can be average. It doesn't really matter. Just don't have it too low, you know. It's your boy King Gallos representing Old Gamer Federation, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a different idea as far as how this build could work, just like the other one, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely take a look at it and see how we can optimize these builds and make us even more deadlier in Destiny 2. With that being said, I appreciate all the support. And if you haven't seen the last video on my Arc Goddess Warlock, make sure to take a look at that in the upper right corner and take a look at that build as well. I got another one coming, man. Till next time, peace.